Toku Secrets is a podcast run by the Anime Secrets website. Check us out at animesecrets.org for more anime, video game, tokusatsu content. Remember to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts today.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Power. It's time for us, and you're watching Toku Secrets Podcast.
Welcome to Toku Secrets. Join us as we journey into the marvelous world of Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, Power Rangers, and many other tokusatsu. Get ready for the adventure of a lifetime. It's Morphin time! Link to the Morphin. I'm Nathan Desai, the dazzling adventurer, Spoken Silver.
And I'm Rizwan Merchant, Gokai Red.
And we're Toku Secrets. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Toku Secrets podcast, presented by animesecrets.org. I'm your host, Nathan Desai, Spoken Silver.
And I'm Rizwan Merchant, Gokai Red.
And today, guys, this is our very last podcast for the year of 2023. We'll talk a little bit about what the year's been like just for a couple of minutes later at the end. But today, the two of us are here. We're taking a little bit of a break from Time Ranger to...
we needed a timeout.
Okay, are you just going to keep making all these bad puns in all these podcasts, too?
Yes. By the end of this podcast, you will say my puns are a train wreck.
Okay, you know, I've been driving my wife crazy with all these stupid dad jokes I keep laying on her, but I think you're starting to outdo me even worse.
Look, I'm here to derail the conversation for you.
Okay, dude, just stop! Damn it! But, anyway. Today, in case you can't get the hint of Riz's bad puns, we're actually going to be taking a look at a fan production from Zenith Films. This is a fan adaptation of Resha Sentai ToQger. Most of you might remember that. It's actually the most recent Sentai of Yasuko Kobayashi, who also did Gingaman, Time Ranger, and Shinkenger and Go Busters. Which is how it kind of relates, since we're trying to do her Sentais over these next couple of months. And it was the first Sentai that we ever reviewed on Toku Secrets, so it's a pretty big deal. To kind of get the hint on like what it's been like for that, both of us, I mean, we didn't hate ToQger. It's certainly not the worst Sentai ever, but it's not Yasuko Kobayashi's best Sentai, in my opinion.
It was like a high C, low B tier, I would say. More C than B.
I mean, it's her worst Sentai that she's done, but at the same time, she gave us Gingaman, she gave us Time Ranger, which I know that we have. I know that, like, maybe that's not the greatest Sentai that we've seen, but we're still liking Time Ranger a lot, so, I mean, it's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, with the spoilers I'm about to give you for our next podcast,
yeah.
At the time of this recording, we have published parts 1 and 2 of the series. We have part 3 recorded, and then part 4 is the most recent one that we're working on doing.
Yeah.
Which will cover everything up until the end game. And my thoughts have drastically improved during this last set of episodes we're watching. I'm not done yet. I still have 4 episodes left to watch before we're done with the batch, but yeah, I'm definitely liking Time Ranger.
Yeah, so she gave us that. She gave us Shinkenger, which we all loved, and at least you and me, Riz. I mean, I think this could be an unpopular opinion, but we like Go Busters here on Toku Secrets, so...
Yeah, I like Go Busters. I don't understand the hate for Go Busters, to be quite honest with you, Nate.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I know people are telling me that people think this is like a Power Ranger try-hard type thing, but to them I say, okay, and?
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, ToQger, I guess, is technically her worst, but, I mean, if you want an idea on, like, why I think she's the GOAT Sentai writer, her worst Sentai is still better than the 2 Sentais that Michiko Yokote has done, which is Geki Ranger and Goseiger. So, Which I'm sure that Michiko Yokote is a nice woman and she's done some other great things, but and I hear that she did some episodes of Kira Major, and I hear Kira Major is good, so I'll give her a chance on that. But her both times that she's been a head writer, and you've already seen us review one of her Sentai's in depth on Toku Secrets,
And
it's
you
just
hear
not
my
worth it.
continual rants even after we're done with that dang season.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like ToQger, it's not Yasuko Kobayashi's best work, but even her worst work is better than some other Sentais.
Yeah.
Um, but so I believe they actually launched this. If the YouTube channel is supposed to be correctly, they launched the Rail Riders thing in like earlier this year. Like the
Yeah.
YouTube channel said that like it came out 2 months ago. So
Yeah, so as of the time of this recording, episode 2 came out somewhere between the last 2-3 months. And then, if I understand correctly, episode 2 came out last week.
yep.
And from what I've been reading, they plan to make this a 5 episode thing. So we're 2/5 of the way done already.
Okay. And I also want to say this. I'm glad that they're doing this because unfortunately, it does not look like. I mean, ToQger is going to be 10 years old next year. Wow, I'm getting so old. They still haven't gotten a Power Rangers adaptation. And I personally am kind of bummed like that about that because I do think that they could make something good out of ToQger.
You know, I was going to say this earlier, but I forgot. I never thought Toku Secrets would have a chance to put a ToQger team suit thing on our page again for a new review because we've already done all the ToQger, and like you said, the prospects of getting it adapted in America are really low. So I never thought we'd see ToQger back on our channel
Yeah.
again.
So I appreciate them doing this production
Yeah,
because.
and
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I appreciate them doing this production, but I also appreciate the way they did it.
Uh huh.
Um, this is a very Saban-esque approach they took, in a
Mm-hmm.
good way. They took the best parts of what Saban did, where Saban took Sentai footage from Japan and they spliced it in with American footage, with American actors and all that stuff, and they made a cohesive story.
Mm-hmm.
These guys did that, and it actually really works. And when we get to the end of the episode, I'm going to drop a bombshell that, well, it's not really a bombshell. I think it's just a fact, but we'll
Yeah.
see how it turns out.
And I mean, just to say one other thing about this, like some people say, well, they shouldn't adapt it because ToQger sucks. Which, okay, even if ToQger isn't the best, well, I mean, just to kind of give you an example of how you can take a Sentai that's not that good and turn it into a good Power Ranger season. I mean, we don't like Eki Ranger on Toku Secrets, but we damn sure love Jungle Fury. That is a damn good Power Ranger season.
Yeah.
So, like, so you can take something that's not that good and make it into something. I don't know if I would call Jungle Fury amazing, but it's just short of amazing.
And then on the other
Right.
side of the spectrum, we have Overdrive and Bokenzer.
Yeah, exactly. Which we'll be doing Bokinder soon, but
At some point.
yeah. So to kind of jump in with Rail Riders, so we actually start off with a flashback where we meet our main characters. We have Marcus, we have Marcus Sanzoku. I think they just call him San. Charlie, Faye, and we also have this other guy named Tomas, who's not going to be in the rest of this episode, but because that's for the next one.
Yeah.
But and they are, they've just been through like this huge battle, and they've all recovered, and then they see their friend, their other friend Gus, like just ready to shoot someone, and then we go to a flashback 6 months earlier where these characters they're all like everybody, they're all on the run from these people called the Shadow Line. From I can't remember what the foot soldiers are called. Are they called the same thing that they are in ToQger or?
I don't know if they are. Um, I know that the villains are called the Shadow Line.
Okay,
I'm looking it up right now, actually. Hang on.
but on a complete side note though, they have a very clever way of like explaining why the foot soldiers don't look the same in original footage as they do in a Sentai footage. They say that like the ones that in the original footage are like level 1 or something, so like they're a rank above, and then when they transition to Sentai footage, it's the stronger ones. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
so they call them ragdolls.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with it. Uh, so they spend most of the first half of the episode like they all come together and they're trying to fight off the foot soldiers. And then, after they escape and a city gets completely blown up, they. You were going to say something, Riz?
Yeah, I messed up. It's not the ragdoll's not the name of the foot soldier. It's actually Kuro's.
Okay, then same thing they were called in ToQger.
Yeah. No, ragdoll's the name of the villain of the week for this one.
Oh,
Yeah, my bad.
okay. So they get told about having to battle against the Shadow Line. They when they encounter a conductor that comes from a train called the Rainbow Line, and they're told that they're given the power to fight to stop the Shadow Line, and of course they all they all fight over. Well, I can't remember about blue and red, but I do remember that like pink, green, and yellow all like like yellow's giving green and just like I'm not feeling green, so I'll just take yellow or something like that. Like really hilarious. And then they and it pretty much plays out like the first ToQger episode from that point forward. Like they all arrive to stop the ragdoll villain that Riz just mentioned as he's attacking, and then they transition to ToQger footage and they save the day, and then they set off to their next line to basically save it from the Shadow Line.
Yeah.
I want to say this real quick about like just to kind of jump in. We're talking about the transition from Sentai to like original to Sentai footage. This might sound a little controversial to some people, but I think the way like the locations that they pick and like to like with the background of a Sentai footage, sometimes I mean it looks a lot better than some cases in actual Power Ranger seasons. Like,
So we're dropping the bomb early. Got it. Yeah. No, I have to say that Zenith Productions, whatever they're called,
yeah,
crap. Zenith Films. Sorry guys. I love y'all, but name's still new to me. Um, Zenith Films has done a phenomenal job with this stuff. Like, if if I didn't know any better, and I didn't notice the fan production, I could have been fooled into thinking this is a legitimate thing
yeah,
because the production value for what they did was really good. They got really good actors. I thought they all did the job really well. Um, I, I mean, this is probably better than the majority of Neo Saban and some of the stuff that even preceded it.
yeah. Like to kind of give an example, and okay, I don't want this to rob from the fact that like it's a great episode and everything, but a perfect example with the Sentai that we're watching, um, in Power Rangers Time Force, the episode where they're trying to get control of the Q Rex. There's so that both episodes of Time Force and Time Ranger play out where like the Red and the Sixth Rangers are both arguing, but in Time Ranger, Tatsuya and Naoto are like arguing in like a back alley and like a warehouse. In Time Force, Eric and I actually am looking at this right now. Like Eric and Wes are arguing in the middle of like what looks like an electrical power plant or something. Like nowhere, like barely any warehouses in the background. And then all of a sudden they morph, and then they're right in the middle of like a warehouse where Naoto and Tatsuya were arguing. It's like, really, couldn't you have just put it in like an out? Like I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not that hard to find a place where like there's just a bunch of warehouses with like open space. Like a power plant does not look the same thing as like an alley with a bunch of warehouses in the background.
It really doesn't.
So, and again, I love Time Force to death, but sometimes the transition and this goes for other seasons. Sometimes the transition from Sentai footage to original footage doesn't always work, even in the best Power Ranger seasons.
But you know what makes this even more crazy to me, Nate? This entire production is only done within the area of Detroit.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so how they found these different locations and were able to match the footage. I mean, they had to have studied ToQger to death to find what they could adapt, how they could adapt it to make it all work. Because I don't know, man. I mean, like some of those scenes that they pulled in from ToQger, you're right. It felt so seamless, like it was perfect almost.
Yeah.
Like there's only one edit they made in episode 1 that I question. Well, we'll get to that when we get to that.
Yeah, what's that you're talking about?
We'll get to that when we get to that.
Oh, okay.
I want to talk about that in the character stuff.
Yeah, I think like I still need to like as far as like the characters are concerned, like I and I'm going off of this because I've also seen the second episode as well.
Yeah.
I if I'm com- I definitely like Marcus. I feel like he gets right down like an adaptation of Right Down where he's kind of a doofus and all that. Uh,
He's not really a doofus though, in my opinion. Like Marcus has some. He's very playful, but he's not a doofus. I wouldn't say that.
okay, then
Like he, he I don't think he's exactly like right, and I think that's a good thing.
yeah, yeah, I guess yeah. The more I think about it, I can see that.
Yeah, because if I,
Um,
if I remember correctly, and it's been 10 years, Nate, but Wright's personality in ToQger was more. He forgot everything about his life, and he had amnesia or something, right?
I think they all had amnesia.
I
I guess
know
he
at
did.
least he did. I.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years, guys, in the
Well,
audience listening. I'm sorry.
okay, Wright is your typical Red Ranger around that time, not
Yeah.
named Marvelous or Takeru, like just a
Hmm.
kind of a I don't know, like ever since I mean I really ever since a certain Sentai Red Ranger who I'm not going to name because I don't want to mention his name in the presence of Riz, it just feels like every Sentai Red from that point and maybe it stopped because I mean I know it didn't stop with me Ninja, but almost every Red Ranger was just kind of a clumsy doofus idiot. And
I mean,
sometimes it worked. Like
not
King from Kyoryuger could be kind of a doofus, but a lovable doofus. I'm not saying that they're all bad Red Rangers, but they all had that kind of quirk with a few exceptions. Like Takeru wasn't like that, and Marvelous wasn't like that. But
Zeodzer Red wasn't like that either.
yeah,
He
yeah,
was more reserved.
okay, yeah. I forgot about
Mm,
Yamato.
Yeah, no, Yamato is honestly still one of my favorite Reds from a personal bias point of view.
Yeah,
But no, you're right. A lot of the Reds that we see post the idiot, as I'll call him, they have been very excitable and goofy, and they lean a lot more into comic relief, I guess.
I wouldn't say Hiromu from Go Busters.
No,
He was
Hiromu was.
he was walking kind of a fine line on that.
Well, the unfortunate part about Hiromu is that he had that chicken
Yeah,
allergy thing or whatever.
fear of chickens.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've watched that too.
Yeah, but yeah, those are the. I guess there's only like four exceptions. Takeru was nothing like that. Marvelous. I mean, he could be a hot-headed
Yeah,
person, but in a good badass way. Hiromu was good, and Yamato was good.
but see, the thing about Marcus is he was self confident. He was a really strong fighter. Like he could knock out Dakotas pretty easily. And also, I want to take a second while we're on that note. The fighting production when they're in civilian form is also pretty dang good.
Yeah.
Like, the choreography was down packed. Like, these guys were not playing around.
Yeah, like this is like, I mean, I would probably say like a Power Rangers Time Force, like Dan Southworth, like stunt level Unmore fight, because like with like that production.
Yeah.
Um, I I guess Sanzoku. Okay, I'm just gonna call him San because that's a complicated name.
I have so many questions about this guy.
Yeah, like what?
Okay, so number one, why is his name Sanzoku? And he's a white guy. Like, I'm not trying to be insensitive or racist or anything, but I'm genuinely trying to understand the backstory here. Like, my headcanon as of this recording is Sanzoku was adopted by a Japanese family who couldn't have kids, and they named him something more traditional Japanese to keep the family. And yeah, but I'm just curious, like, what was the actual reason behind that?
Um, I mean, I don't know. Hopefully, they'll explain to me these next couple of episodes.
I mean, hopefully we can get Zenith to listen to this podcast and they can maybe address it to us at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, as of this recording, I haven't even told their production team that we're doing this podcast.
Oh.
So, yeah, like with Carl Dutton, he knew well in advance that we're doing something for the audio drama. But yeah, Zenith does not have any idea.
I would probably. I mean, I think he gets Togachi down. Like, he's probably very similar to Togachi from ToQger, which unfortunately is. And no disrespect to the actor. I mean, the actor is. I mean, he's doing a great job, but I was not a huge fan of Togachi. But I don't know. I mean,
That
maybe
was
over
Blue,
these.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Takatsu being the more, I don't want to call him irritating Nate, but he definitely grated on my nerves a good bit.
I don't now to Sanzoku's credit, I don't think he's
Oh no, absolutely
annoying.
not.
Not, but he definitely gets the awkward nerd part down.
He takes the trope that they are trying to go with for this guy, and they made it work correctly.
Uh huh.
Like, his acting was good. He was definitely a bit more self-conscious, kind of unsure of himself, and definitely a nerd, like you said. That was done. That was down pack.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think they took the Sentai really to heart when they were writing this, and they found ways to improve what ToQger did.
Yep. And speaking of things, did you want to say anything else about Sanzoku?
No, 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 go ahead.
Speaking of things that this thing improves on Tokuger, Charlie. This character, I think, is way better than her Sentai counterpart. Like, I can't like, I I got vibes that. Wait, what are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at the fact that I don't remember anything about Mio.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I get the vibe that they were trying to make her out to be a tomboy-esque character, like similar to Luca from Gokaiger, but I can't remember anything like this woman, Charlie. It feels like everything that they were trying to make Mio to be, she's doing.
Okay, but real talk for a second. Charlie is probably the goat of this season.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, just the way she berated Sanzoku and said, "You're just a bootlicker. You can't even spell mud." And he's like, "I'm dyslexic. I can't spell." I was like, this is great banter.
Yeah.
And just her personality, like, strong, independent female, don't need no man. She got that down pack, and I thought she did a really good job with, like, being that self confident, go getter, badass woman that she is.
I mean, she reminds me of Luca from GoKaiger with how much she's berating everybody
Dude.
else. But that's a
Yeah,
good thing because
it
Luca
is.
is an S tier yellow. So, wait, you think Luca's S tier, don't you?
Yes, Nathan, I think she's S tier.
Okay,
She's one of
cool.
the best yellows.
Okay, cool.
The only yellow I would probably even put on her same level is Domon from Time Ranger.
Mm. Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's any other yellow that has that designation in my book.
Well, I mean, Kotoha deserves to be up there.
Kotaha deserves to be up there for a very different reason.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But yeah, I mean, Charlie, like, she's probably going to be the main person. I mean, she does a lot more of it's kind of funny in the next episode, which we'll
Yeah.
talk about. But yeah, I really like Charlie, and even in this first episode, I get really good vibes off of her.
Oh yeah. She was. I don't want to say that she's the glue of the team, but she definitely is a big glue that keeps the team together. And that she's a strong fighter, and she's also like the one that's kind of giving more direction to the team.
Yep. Uh, so next up, we have Gus, which I don't know how I feel about Gus. I mean, I think his actor's doing a good job, but when I compare him to Hikari, I don't. What do you think of?
I I think Gus is a pretty good character. I have nothing negative to say about him. Um, I just need more from him because I think the focus has not been really given to him as much as the others have gotten so far.
Yeah, I just get the vibe that he's just like this guy who's a little crazy and he doesn't actually want to be there.
Yeah. It's like when you asked me what my thoughts were on Time Fire in the last podcast we did, and
Yeah.
I told you I couldn't give you an honest answer until we watched more of it, right? Like
Yep.
I need more time with Time Fire to really understand him. I need more time to understand Gus.
Yep. Yeah, and hopefully we'll get some more from him in the next
Yeah.
5 episodes. Sorry.
3 episodes remaining. But yeah. Well yeah, no, I mean 4 from this point.
And to wrap it up with Faye, what do we think of her?
C is extremely adorable.
Yeah, just like her
Also,
Sentai counterpart.
I have to know, why did Faye have a garbage bag full of money?
Did she
I
steal
have
it?
to know the answer to this.
Yeah, I really want to know that.
Like, she drops a bag of money, she walks off, she's asking to go back and get the bag of money, and she doesn't. And then, spoilers for the next episode, but they don't mention the bag of money again. Where, what is the bag
Yeah,
of money for?
yeah. They don't. Were you trying to steal something? Did you steal something, Faye?
I think Faye went to the bank and made a deposit.
Well, made a
But
withdrawal in this case.
yeah, that word. Look, it's
Yeah,
been a week.
yeah. But yeah, yeah. She's an adorable character. She's on par with her Sentai counterpart.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because I mean, Kagura. I mean, I wouldn't put her as an S tier pink, but she's like an A or B tier just because of how adorable she is. Like she's one of those characters where if you dislike Kagura, you have no soul.
Kagura is in the same vein as Kotaha to me.
Yeah,
I think they're both really well done characters in terms of like just being the more feminine, adorable character that is there. But then when it comes down to getting down to business, she can whip some ass when she wants to.
just like I am from
Yeah,
Go
exactly. And okay, so here's where I'll make my comment. I I loved all the transitions from Sentai footage back to American footage, but I have to ask, why did we cut to a scene of Kagura hyping herself up from the Sentai footage when Faye is hyping herself up in the American footage? I thought that was kind of an odd transition to make.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't know what to think about that either.
I was so confused. I was
I
like,
was
wait,
looking forward to seeing that too because you told me that was a questionable scene when you were texting it to me.
yeah. I didn't want to tell you what it was, but I was like, dude, Kagura makes a weird cameo.
I mean, we get to see Kagura, so I mean, it's kind of an
I
upside.
mean, it's a win-win for me in that regard. But yeah, I was curious on why they decided to go with that. Maybe we'll try and get them on the podcast one day and talk to them.
Yeah, that'd be great. I
If
mean,
you're listening to this podcast, Zenith Media, please join us one day. We'd love to talk to y'all.
yeah, because we're enjoying your work, honestly.
Like, I want this to be a full Power Rangers season. I'm sorry. I have to say it, Nate.
Yeah,
This needs to be made into a full thing. I don't know how we can make that happen, but they need to be given the keys to Hasbro.
and I mean, and I admire them for that because, like, I remember when I was a bit younger and I was watching Go Kaiger, and then like after I watched like Super Mega Force and like just seeing how much this sucked, it's like I was just thinking, like, man, I could do something better if I just got a bunch of people together and we could do our own thing. And well, these people are actually doing their own thing that I was thinking about. So I mean, and they're doing it well. I got to take my hat off to these people because it's one
Oh
thing,
my god, yeah.
like no like, and I'm not trying to disrespect Carl Dutton. I have like what Carl Dutton does with his audio drama is amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. But it's a completely different thing what these people are doing. Like to take the Sentai footage and like dub over it and edit it into like new films. Not to mention having to film their own original stuff because this doesn't look like it's just a fan production. Like the production quality does look like pretty huge. So I'm just like these people are like a whole new level. Like this is just insane.
Well, I mean, okay, so to that comment, I think Carl Dutton and Zenith Media are both very S tier quality when they come to what they've done for the fandom in different formats. Um, I think if Carl Dutton were to have taken his stuff to a screen, he would do very comparable work to what Zenith Film has done, even just with the storytelling. Like,
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
maybe it wouldn't have the same level of production quality. I don't know. That depends on who he can find to help him do the production quality. But definitely, these two fan projects, they deserve your undying love and respect.
yeah. So for everybody who's whining about how we don't get a ToQger adaptation, watch these people because they're doing it. I mean, they honestly do it way better than the Neo Saban era did.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm glad that they're the ones doing the ToQger adaptation and not like Saban or Hasbro.
Yeah, because I know that I keep harping on like the backgrounds that they give to mesh with the Sentai footage, but like it's way better than like because if you want an idea of like just how bad the transition from original footage to Sentai footage and vice versa is, uh, go watch the episode Mega Force Ultra Power where they get their Ultra mode where they demorph from where after they defeated the monster they demorph from Ultra mode to civilian mode. That is the worst transition I have ever seen. The background that the Megaforce Rangers, like the unhinged ones, like Andrew Gray, Ciara Hana, blah, 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 are standing in, looks nothing like what was in the Ghost Sager footage. I have never seen anything that bad.
But
And that's a multi-million-dollar company that can't afford to do this type of stuff.
but but in my very extremely weak defense of that, we had Ciara Hanna on screen.
Okay, but that's still like just a 0.1 out of 10 for that shot then.
It's still better than a 0.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But anything else we want to say about this?
No, I just think we're all steam ahead, man. This is a great season.
Yep.
And that's my last pun.
Thank God.
For this episode.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to take a look at episode 2. Episode 2 is out. Episode 3 we'll review when it comes out, and hopefully we'll have the production team on because we are planning to have Carl Dutton on, the guy who was behind the audio drama. To talk about it with him. We're definitely going to be talking to a lot of people who do these fan production stuff, but this is another fan production to take a
Yeah.
look at. And as for the audio drama, we are going to be taking a look at season 3 when they complete it, because they are back to releasing episodes now that the Screen Actors and Writers Guild strikes are over. So definitely looking forward to that. And before we sign off here, just something quick to say. So the year of 2023 is wrapping up, and we can say that we've gone through some rough times this year with the stuff that we've taken a look at. Um, taking a look at 2 really bad Sentais, but um, but we've still very much enjoyed bringing this content to you. We've noticed that, like we've gotten some new fans where, our views are going up. We've really, built a lot of connections. I mean, like I said, we're going to have Carl Dutton on here very soon. And I've not only that, but the guy who voiced Rocky on the audio drama reached out and thanked us for his review. Like, we really appreciate all these connections and all these people who are
Yeah.
watching us. Our numbers are up, and we're going to continue to review stuff, and we're going to continue to grow our podcast over the next year. We got a lot of fun stuff planned for you guys, and we're going to try our very best to not look at some bad Sentais next year. Although,
Do you promise?
okay, I can promise you, but you're not going to hate Ginga Man.
Okay. I'm just saying. I've been given some promises by y'all this past year, and
I'm not going to
some of them led to Sentais that I would never have wanted to watch.
Okay, well, in my defense, Geo Ranger wasn't my idea. I knew you were going to hate that one.
Zero Ranger was a terrible idea, but Geki Ranger, the audacity for us to say that was a good Sentai and
Okay,
as a way to make me watch it.
That was Anthony's idea. But anyway,
I guess we're gonna throw Anthony on the tracks.
I thought you said your bad puns were done. Damn it!
The opportunity presented itself. I had no choice.
Okay. But yeah, and hopefully by the time we do our next big, like whether it's the 150th or 200th episode, I'm going to be doing a podcast where I tier all the Sentais, because I'm closing in on having watched every Sentai ever. So that'll be very fun. But yeah, we have really enjoyed this whole year, just doing all this content for you guys, and, you guys watching us and our podcast growing. And we're going to continue doing that next year as well. And we're really looking forward to that, guys. And we thank you guys so much for checking us out and giving us your support. But with that said, next time we will be taking a look at Time Ranger. We will be doing our 3rd Time Ranger review, and after that we have a few more. We have 2 more Time Ranger podcasts lined up until the end game. Then after that, we're going to do our Time Force review, and then our little versus special, because we do think that Time Ranger and Time Force are good enough to be compared to each other.
Yeah, we need to have a talk about that.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be able to do that, because I thought we would be able to do it with Geki Ranger and Jungle Fury, but that turned out to not be possible.
You were sorely mistaken, my friend.
Yes, and I knew for a fact that we weren't going to be able to do it with Mighty Morphin and Geo Ranger. But
Yeah.
With that said, so that's our schedule. Then and we'll give you guys a preview of what we're going to be doing after that when we get to it. But keep your eyes out for that come at the beginning of 2024. With that said, we thank you guys so much for taking the time to enjoy this podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like the video, subscribe to our channel. We also appreciate everybody who takes a look at us on Spotify and iTunes. Very much appreciate that. If you're listening to this, be sure to give this podcast a rating out of stars or whatever the ranking is on iTunes. And check us out at animesecrets.org to give us some commentary on what you would like to see us review. And we will be doing Rail Riders Episode 2 very soon, probably after we finish Time Ranger. But yeah, that about wraps this up. We will see you guys next time when we jump back into Time Ranger next year. But until that time, you guys stay safe. You guys have a happy holiday. Have a good Christmas and New Year. We'll see you guys next time. We love you, and may the power protect you.
All aboard for year 2024.